healthy boundary setting has almost nothing to do with anyone else but yourself. Because I think that we live in the whole of like, you didn't respect my boundary, you crossed my boundary, and now it's out. Versus being like, no, I put myself in a position that I shouldn't have for that boundary to get crossed, or I didn't actually stay strong in my boundary. I'm Izzy.
I'm Maggie.
And this is the Long Game Podcast, where we talk all things relationships, fitness, and faith.
Yay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited.
I like your outfit. This is something we got together.
Yeah. On our friendiversary trip.
Yes. To Florida.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
That was really fun.
I'm ready to go back.
I should have vlogged it.
That's
And I was going to, and I didn't.
Our Mexico vlog was such a vibe.
Dude,
I say
my
ours,
dad
yours.
still talks about it.
Does he
He's
really?
like, oh, that video, so well done.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I need to send it to my dad.
Oh my gosh.
He will go crazy.
They'll watch the whole
He'll
thing.
love it. Oh, he will. Yeah. And he'll have comments
They'll
after.
have friends over and watch it.
Yes.
What I think everyone liked was the bada Messi, and it's you with the soccer. Yeah. That was awesome. I think we should do that our next group trip. Also film it, because that was awesome.
Where do you think? I know. I feel like we're still trying to decide where the group trip will be. I'm tempted to say Arizona. I feel like that would be really fun and be different for us too, because it's not like the beach vibe.
For people who don't know who we're talking about our group trip with our husbands.
Yes.
Husband.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. No. Okay.
Because we've done a few and we always have a great time, and so it's like we need to get another one on the book.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, let us know what you think. Where should we go? Where would you like to see us go?
Where do you want to see a vlog?
Where do you want to see? Yeah, honestly though, dude, at some point I do want to do a New York trip. I know you've done it, but I do want to do like the whole Broadway experience, like actually really see. I have a whole theory on this too. Of course I do. Of course. But just like shows and stuff in general, because we have all the AI, we have all the hoopla, blah, blah, blah. People are going to want to see more stuff that's real. I think that's also like long form content is doing really good right now too. Like because it's not just like edited, fake, all the things. It's like you have to be real, but going and seeing like real talent on Broadway, I've never really seen that.
Yeah.
You went and saw it?
When I went, we saw Wicked on Broadway. And like any sort of like musical like that, like I've seen Phantom of the Opera not on Broadway, but those are like, they blow me away.
Dude.
The talent is incredible. Like, and you were just removed from everything else but that. Like you are so in it.
I feel
like you're immersed in it.
Dude, I was thinking about this, I think literally yesterday. I was like, man, why do I love to like speak like in front of crowds? Like, why do I love to? I was like, I love to make people feel something while they're sitting there and then feel something within themselves and be like, I can do something great. Like I love, and when I also see things like that are just beautiful, like I've seen more like the piano guys or the symphonies and stuff like that. Yeah. Even when I see those guys perform, I'm like moved to tears. Like I'm like, oh, it's incredible. I can't even explain. Like, and
it's beautiful too, because like you talk about it, the musical talent, like just sharing your talent with the world. Yeah. And I really think you have a talent for speaking to people. Yeah. And it's like part of it is just sharing that talent with other people.
I think so. It's like I want to get, because you feel like it's your gift to give to other people.
And whoever is listening, we feel that. Like you feel it when they're super talented and when they're passionate.
They actually love to do it.
Yeah, and it lights you on fire too.
Yeah, that's so true. Because I think about like when you see comedians that like they live to make people laugh. Yes. That's what they want to do. So the best ones, that's their whole thing, is like, how can I give to the audience? Yeah. And like that's what I also realized, I think, when I did the keynote in March, was like, if your head is in the wrong place and you're thinking about like, oh, are they gonna all applaud me? You're gonna fail. You're gonna be so nervous, it's gonna suck. And that's why I think I wasn't actually that nervous. Because I had the nerves in the beginning, like you always do. But once I was out there, because all I was thinking was like, what can I deliver? How good is this gonna be? And then like it like relieves the pressure.
I love that.
But I want to see more like, I don't know, more live things like that. Because I think even like live podcast tours and stuff. Yeah. It's going hard right now. I don't even know how we got here. Why were we talking about this?
I have no idea. But what we're actually supposed to be talking
about. Our actual topic for today
is all about boundaries.
Boundaries.
Saying no. The joy that comes from saying no.
Yeah, I'm very excited for
this. FOMO all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this.
I'm really excited for this because I feel like I learned it. I feel like I learned about boundary setting or just like how to do it in my own life.
Yeah.
A little bit after you. Like I feel like you were already learning how to do it, and then I was like, oh wait, this is
really helpful.
I need to do this.
Yeah.
So we can jump right in.
Let's do it.
Okay, first question. What is the hardest part about saying no?
I think FOMO. I'm going to start with saying FOMO. I think can
fair.
be a piece of it for sure. Like we get FOMO naturally.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, no. But I think in general, saying no is so much harder than saying yes.
Yeah.
100%. It like the most disciplined people that I know that I see, or when I'm in a really disciplined phase of my life, I say no to no, can't do it. Nope, not available. Nope. I think it's hard. I think there's always the like, grass is always greener. Here's the shiny object. Chase this thing. And I think as you actually get like more success, people come to you with more things.
Yes.
They're literally like,
and shiny things too. Like they look good. Yeah.
Dude, especially on Instagram now, I feel like I get that all like, oh, multi-level marketing and blah, blah, blah. And this and here, you should do this. And it's like, no.
Yeah. Stay focused.
But like the hardest part, I think, is just like the discipline of not chasing this shiny object.
Yeah.
Not doing it. And then like in with certain things, like not getting FOMO also.
Yeah.
For me, at least.
No, that's very fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, it's the guilt. Like I feel so guilty.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, I'm like disappointing this person, or I'm not being a good friend, or whatever it is. I mean, for sure the FOMO as well. Like sometimes I do feel like I'm missing out on stuff, especially if it's like a group thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like, oh, everyone else is doing it except for me. But it's definitely the guilt. I feel like I'm letting people down when I say no.
Yeah. Do you feel like that when you say no to me ever?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't have to feel that way.
I appreciate that. No,
I never think of it that way at all.
And I know you don't. And I am working on that. But even like with Matthew's really busy schedule right now, like saying no to you tonight, we wanted to have dinner. And I was like, we can't do that. Like Matthew has meetings. Yeah. And I felt bad saying no, but I was also like, I really want to respect like his time and how hard he's working. And I was like, and I know it's for the best. I know you're going to be understanding, but it's still hard to say no. Like I want to make it work. No. I want to overextend us and just be like, cram your meetings in, do whatever you can. Like we'll figure it out. But no, it's definitely, it gives me the most peace. Yeah. When I am like, no, I can't overextend myself here.
Yeah, that's really good. I was going to lead on something that you said and I totally forgot. But I think just like the way that you say no matters. And I think people now, we live in a whole like, it's always their fault culture, you know? And it's like, my boundary, black, no, you know? But it's like, you can be nice about the way that you say no. And you can give an explanation too. Yeah. And people are like, I don't owe anyone any explanation. But it's like, okay, sure. But is it nice to? Does it make the relationship flow a little better? If you're like, dude, I really want to do dinner tonight. But guess what? I'm exhausted. I have this many meetings and this many calls. So I'm just going to show up on an empty tank. And I don't want to. I want to be fully present. So can we do it like next week? Which is exactly what you did. You're like, so if it doesn't work out, like we're going to try and figure it out next
on his
week.
next day off.
On his
like
next,
we will have dinner. And I love that. I think this is so important. We've talked about it, is following up with another date. Like if you really do want to hang out with that person, if you value the relationship and you want them to feel valued too, follow up with a date. Yeah. And if it's not a specific date, if you don't know, just say, hey, like I'd love to like still do dinner. Like let me follow up with you in a week when I know my schedule or something. Like some sort of follow up. Because otherwise, after a certain amount of no's, I'm going to stop reaching out. I'm going to stop asking you if you want to hang out because I've been rejected so many times. I'm like, I don't think you want to hang out with me. Yeah. No, that's so really important. I feel like more people need to know that.
I think so too, especially with what the narrative I feel like is push is like respect, protect your peace at all costs and blah, like every single thing. It's like, okay, yeah, but be nice to people when you do it and just there's nothing wrong with explaining why. And then also following up. That's how you take care of a good relationship.
And I do feel like there is a certain level of like, I don't know, anyone an explanation.
I know.
Like
I'm like, what? I had someone tell me that recently. They're like, I don't owe you an explanation. And I mean, I was like, I'm kind of splitting ways anyways. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like you don't Wait, why do you have to say that anyways?
Right.
Like,
but you could be a nice person.
You could just be nice about it.
Minutes.
Yeah. Like, yeah. No, I like that.
Absolutely agree.
That's a good one.
Amazing.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Second question. I'm so excited.
Have you ever said yes out of fear or guilt? And how did that turn out?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
First of all, spoiler alert, didn't turn out well. Was not great. I think mainly probably with my family. I've done that, you know, things where it's like we're talking about overextending. Like I just overextended.
Yeah.
And, you know, I probably shouldn't have said yes to doing that thing or going to that event. I mean, not as much now. I'm pretty removed from my family. I have a great relationship with most of them, but like I don't live there, so I'm not in it. But I think there were times where I'd be like, oh, I gotta go to this and I gotta make this. I cannot miss this. Otherwise, like, it's gonna be, you know, bad. And then I show up on an empty tank. Or, this one. I'm going a whole other direction here.
Yes, go on.
And I told you about this, like, obligation hangouts. No, I am so done with those.
Yeah.
The other thing, because I experienced a lot of this. Oh my gosh, I'm getting excited. A lot of this is like the whole, can we meet up so I can pick your brain? I am incredibly over that.
I feel like you've experienced a lot of that as you've gotten into the entrepreneurship
Yes,
world.
more people are like, can I pick your brain? What happens if I say yes to that? I end up getting on a call that drains me, that they take no action on, and then follow up 6 months later asking another question about something. And so what I started doing when people say that, instead I'm like, because I do love to solve problems and help people come up with a plan, because I'm a coach. That does energize me. But most people don't follow through on like anything.
And then it's just wasted time.
It's just wasted time.
Ends.
So I go, yes, I would love to help you. Send me your top 5 questions that you have for me, and I'll get back to you. I think 1 out of like 15 people will actually do that. Because most people just want to be like validated for all the reasons that like they can't do it. And I don't, like, I'm like, you're not going to enjoy talking to me because I'm just going to call you out anyways. So,
so you weed out the people that are actually more serious.
Yes, because I will actually help people, but it's a lot of time it's a bunch of hoopla. So
I love how you say hoopla.
Yeah,
I don't know if I know anyone else that says hoopla.
Yeah.
Unless they're like 60
it's me and Mitchell.
Plus.
We say it all the time now. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm done with that one for sure. But I have in the past been like, yeah, sure.
Just out of obligation.
Yes. Yeah. What? No. And the obligation hangouts. Done with those.
Yeah.
No more.
Absolutely.
No mas, baby.
Ditto to all of that.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have a specific time where I said yes out of guilt.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like the
Hangout,
obligatory friendship hangouts. It's just like, and you've talked about this too, just like really narrowing in on who your inner circle is. Like who do I want to spend time with and actually invest in? Yeah. And once I did that, I think once you did that, you start weeding out those obligations where it's like, I'm really just hanging out with them out of obligation.
To check the box.
They probably are too, honestly, if we don't have a close relationship, if we don't talk on a regular basis. Not that I dislike this person, but it's like, again, you only have so much time in a day. Like, who are you going to spend it with?
Yeah. It's like, do I want to cut if I have 2 times in a week to hang out with you? Do I want to hang out with you 1 time and like check a box with someone else, or hang out with you twice? I'm going to hang out with you twice. Like, 9 times out of 10.
Heck yeah.
No, sorry. Sorry, 10 times out of 10.
Roll a tape.
God. Yeah.
I love that though.
No, I
That's
like that
amazing.
too. Good.
All right. Question number 3. What does healthy boundary setting actually look like in daily life, not just in theory?
Okay. Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
No, go.
Okay. Yeah. Number 1, I think healthy boundary setting has almost nothing to do with anyone else but yourself. Because I think that we live in the whole of like, you didn't respect my boundary, you crossed my boundary, and now it's out. Versus being like, no, I put myself in a position that I shouldn't have for that boundary to get crossed, or I didn't actually stay strong in my boundary. And I think there's too much of like, you crossed my boundary. I told you, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, but it's like putting it on the other person.
And then you lose control.
Like, that's
and then
your own boundary.
You don't actually get to take like control of that boundary. So like a practical thing that I could give you in theory, this is something I still struggle with, really try and break. We just live in a culture that's full of this, but gossiping within the family.
Ooh, yeah.
If my sibling comes to me, and if I've already said, or someone comes to me with gossip, and I've already said, I don't want to do that, and they come to me to say something, but it's not framed as gossip, it's whatever, it's information, and I accept that, it's not on them for breaking my boundary.
Yeah.
I should have put up it. Hey, sorry you're going through that, but I can't do this right now. I can't talk about this. Let me avoid this conversation. It's on me. It's not on them. And being like, you know what? I just can't do it with their boundaries.
That is such a good point. And I do feel like boundary setting more often than not has become like, I'm putting this boundary on this person to respect it.
Yes.
And when they don't, it's their fault and it's not mine at all. It's about that ownership again too. Yeah.
And it's kind of like controlling almost when we do that. Like you're trying to like control how they're going to show up and how they're going to be.
Yeah.
And I think just like, there's just so many ways for it to not go well if you put it on them versus being like, no, this is my boundary, and just not putting yourself in situations for the boundary to get crossed. I feel like.
I love it.
So
I agree.
My version of the healthy boundary setting is make it about you.
Yeah.
And then you can set those, and then you're not like, oop, they broke my boundary, now I'm cutting them out. Nope. I need to either give clear guidelines, which a lot of time you don't even need to have a conversation with the person. Sometimes you do. But I don't feel like it's the best tactic to go up to someone and be like, these are my boundaries if we're going to be in a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It feels very controlling.
It feels like super
It's also not very natural.
It's not super natural. So it's just like, define them for yourself, how you're going to show up. If it's not working, then you need to rework it and kind of explain to them, hey, these are areas that I'm working in my life. I don't really want to do this. Is that okay with you? Versus being like, you got to show up this way in my life. Kind of.
And I was thinking about this too, and I do agree that boundaries are about you, but I also feel like boundaries shouldn't be selfish. Like I feel like when we have boundaries, it's because it helps us show up better for everyone else in our lives and for ourselves. So I think that it can get twisted and it can become selfish.
Yes.
And that's when you get into the territory of, you didn't respect my boundary. Like, now this hurt me. And it feels like very self-righteous and selfish.
Yes.
But I think in its truest form, like boundaries help your whole circle.
Yes.
And it's not a selfish thing. I don't know if that makes sense. Because it is about you.
No, it totally does. Because I can't even picture like what I've actually heard. But I've heard so many times people be like, you didn't respect my boundary to someone. And so I cut them out.
Yes.
And it's like, well, like, I don't know how I would feel if you're like, this is my boundary. If you do it, like, you're cut out of my life. Like, what? Like, I don't know.
It feels very self-righteous, and it can also be like a very like harsh line. Like, where you cross it once and you're just out.
Yeah.
And I feel like we even had like that experience with one friend a while ago who like just cut us out like very abruptly and then came back around, but it was like she had felt like we had crossed, and then it was just like immediately cut out without any sort of conversation. And it can feel very harsh.
I just don't think it's very realistic. But I think we live in that culture of pointing the finger and being like, your problem, you're out. And we almost want, it's like that self-preservation again. It's like we want the opportunity to be like, they're a threat to me. It was their fault. They're out. I'm good. I should stay exactly the way that I am. Mm-hmm. And it kind of like reinforces that.
Yep.
So absolutely. I feel like we kind of agree on that one. We kind of said the same thing. That was so good though.
Yeah,
like,
that was amazing. I was thinking about that earlier today, just about like how it's not supposed to be a selfish thing. And I love what you said.
Yeah,
amazing.
That was good.
Okay, how do your boundaries reflect your priorities and values?
That's a really good question. I had looked at that earlier and I had a thought on it, but I kind of forgot it. But I think like it's almost like opposite. Like the things that you do reflect where your priorities are. So if I don't even know if I'd call it boundaries, but just like in lifestyle almost like I think just maybe with influence of people coming into my life.
Okay.
I have boundaries with like, I'm not going to let someone in who is trying to almost like get me to go to their level. So I have a boundary there. I'm not going to spend quality time with you. Even if you're someone who like isn't necessarily like malicious or anything like that. It's like, no, I have to have that boundary because ultimately you have influence on me. And I did have that with a friendship with someone that I needed to basically, and I didn't even have to have a conversation about it. It was just like, boom, we're kind of going separate ways because that person had influence on me in not a great way.
Wow.
Like they just had bad habits and like would not honor their word and make excuses and all these things. I'm like, that is something that's going to rub off on me.
Yep. Whoever you're hanging out with, like it doesn't matter like how disciplined, like how hardworking you are, anything. It lowers
the standard of behavior. And so I think it kind of goes back to what you're saying, but just like who I hang, like the inner circle. And for me, that's really, really important to, you know, hang out with people like you and Matthew, like that have a high standard of living, who want to better themselves, who don't just like point the finger at everyone else and be like, you guys are all bad. Like I need to work on myself too. You know what I mean?
I love that.
I kind of forgot the question though. What was it?
No, you answered it perfectly. Okay. How do your boundaries reflect your priorities and values?
Yeah,
it's like your inner circle. Like you prioritize those and you don't do the obligatory hangouts because it's not prioritizing your inner circle people.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So if
that was
you're
good. All right. I answered that.
Izzy's inner circle, you're pretty special.
You know who you are.
Shout out to
just I pulled out a list.
No, I agree. I think also like our values are so much less like going out to like Nashville and like you know drinking and all the things. Like I think that our boundaries reflect that because that's just not something that we prioritize or are really involved with. And again, it also goes back to who those inner people are. Like I want to hang out with Matthew and you and Mitchell. Like that's it. Just literally like you said. I think that my boundaries reflect that. Yeah.
And I think too, like I always, and I think you are the same too. Like I always believe in opening the door for someone to come into your space and rise with you. And I believe that's an important thing to do and try to do and give the hand and be like, come on, let's raise the level of life. You got this. Let's go together. I think you can do that. And then you need to also realize when it's not going to work. They're not going to rise. They want to, not only do they want to stay where they are, they want you to come down with them. And that's where you do have to have like hard boundaries. Agreed. And I think it's so rare that there would ever need to be a conversation for one of those things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you would ever tell someone that
like
really.
You're dragging me down.
No.
Buddy. No.
It's more like.
It's unnecessarily mean unless you actually. Like,
I'm going in this direction. I would love for you to come with me. But I promise you I'm not going the other way. Yeah. I got to go this way. Yeah. And usually they'll be like, okay, I don't know, that's too hard. You're like, okay, yeah, it is hard. But I'm going that direction. Yeah. So I love just to piggyback off that.
I think too, this isn't exactly about boundaries, but you start realizing the caliber of friends you have. I've noticed that a lot with Matthew lately too. Like just, you have like childhood friends that you grow up with and then you have new friends that you make and it starts opening your eyes. Like he has made friends recently with like really like faith-filled men that are such good influences and he like talks so highly about them. Yeah. And he like recognizes the difference in the different kinds of friends you have and like who he actually wants to spend time with. And it's those guys.
So cool.
Because they actually spur you on and make you better as a person. I think
that's so good. I think we are very blessed to have a unique situation that we are childhood friends and also fruitful best friends like now in our life.
Agreed, because that's not always the case.
It's not. It's definitely not. And I think that's an important thing for you to like reevaluate if you're struggling with that and then be like, okay, where do I need to put some boundaries up with the people that I'm hanging? Not do I go and give them boundaries. Where do I need to maybe...
And not cut them out either. Like it is not this harsh thing, but it's just recognizing the different kinds of friends you have. Yep. And how close you want to be with them and who you want to invest in.
Yep. And you'll probably have like seasons. You have seasons. Like there's so few people that I have in my life that aren't like seasonal. I'm like you.
For fall,
spring. You are my winter friend. But you really do. Like we have seasons and that's okay. Yes. And I think that's also a big like part of just like growing up and maturing, because I also am definitely a big communicator and nurturer of relationships naturally. I really do enjoy to do that. But then you also got to realize, like, dude, if it's fading, like, usually there's a reason. Yeah. You know, and if it's just because like you're not being intentional, the other person, like, yeah, water it. But if it's fading, like, let it go, because most people don't want to live a life of growth. They want to live a life of comfort. Yeah. So you're going to put up some boundaries if you want to grow.
Agreed. What is it? What is the quote? Friends are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime?
Yeah. Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's very real.
You're all three for me, so.
You're welcome.
All the reasons, all the seasons, and the lifetime.
All the lifetimes.
All of them.
When we come back as like trees.
Yeah,
we'll just be trees together.
How cute.
I think that's Hinduism, actually.
Yeah, well,
I don't actually
Maggie does not believe that, okay?
I just think it's cute, in theory.
How cute.
How cute. Okay, next question. What are some signs that you're living outside your boundaries or overextending yourself? I feel like overextending yourself is literally one boundary.
Yeah. I think when you're starting to resent people.
Oh.
I feel like.
Okay.
Right? Because a lot of the time, obviously if that's something you need to like just like go and leave, but if you're like, oh, I have to go and help this person with this thing, and it's so annoying, I gotta show up for them. Like, I see that honestly with people in like weddings. Like,
really,
I gotta be her, so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like a resentfulness there. And it's like, dude, if you really didn't want to do that, then you should have had a conversation. You don't get to not want to do it, not say anything about it, and then complain about it, because that's not even fair to the other person.
Yeah, that's on you.
Yeah. So I think if you're like finding yourself getting irritated, like, I gotta go give them a ride to the airport, or I gotta go do this. And there's obviously moments where like, it's kind of inconvenient, but you're not like resenting the person for it.
Right.
Like, showing up to be a good friend, like sometimes you're going to do things that you don't really want to do, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
There's a difference between like not wanting to do it and doing it because you're a good friend, and then actually having resentment towards that person.
Yeah, that's such a big thing, resentment.
Yeah. And if you have that, you haven't set good boundaries. It's not fair to you, it's not fair to them.
Yeah.
At least that's like my take on it.
So if you're feeling like resentment towards someone, like, should you take a step back from that friendship? Should you like, what do you think is the course of action?
I think you got to figure out like, why do I feel that way?
Yeah.
And is it because I'm saying yes to this person too much?
Yeah.
And I feel like they're not pouring into me, and I'm always pouring into them. Is that what, you know, it could be a number of things. If you're like not super healthy or worked on yourself, there's like a lot of reasons you could be resentful. But I think a lot of it is like, usually you probably haven't like communicated something.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you're just like saying yes. And then because you didn't have a boundary and you didn't have the guts to be like, hey, dude, I'm just too tired, I can't do that. Or had the conversation that's like, and I don't think it's like necessarily a boundary, but just being like, you know, I come to you every time we hang out. Why couldn't you come to me one time? Like, that would really mean something to me if you did. I think that's kind of having a boundary in the friendship of like, I want to have some give. Like you the other night, you're like, well, you guys would have to come to me, so I want to make sure that I come to you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you're thinking about those kinds of things. But I think some people really are just unaware, and they're just in their like habits of things, so they don't even think about it. But if you just give them a chance and like set a boundary, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And be like, hey, honestly, my feelings are kind of getting hurt because I feel like I'm doing a lot of legwork.
Yep.
So I feel like if you have resentment.
But just that communication, though.
Yeah, communicate. It's everything.
Yeah, if it's like a friendship that you value, talk about it. Yeah.
Chat about it.
Yeah.
Do the chats.
You overstepped my boundaries.
And now it's over.
No, I agree. And I think it's over. We're done.
Forever.
I agree. And I think what came to mind for me goes along with resentment. It's just like not looking forward to that thing. Like if you've overstepped your boundaries, or maybe it's like anxiety around a conversation because you know that those boundaries are going to get overstepped.
Yep.
It's like you were saying with like the gossip, like if you know you're talking to someone and you're worried about what they're going to say or like the position that it's going to put yourself in, like it's already overextended.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it hasn't been clearly laid out.
Yeah.
Or maybe not as explicitly as it should be. But yeah, I think definitely as far as friendships, I feel like a lot of these boundaries do have to do with relationships and friendships. It's just like if you're not looking forward to hanging out with someone, I feel like that's typically a pretty key indicator. Maybe if you're for a different reason, but typically...
Dude, it's that thing that's like, if you are hoping something comes up and they cancel before the hangout, you should not be hanging out with that person.
At all. At all. Literally, exactly.
Like, you should not.
I hope I don't get sick today.
Yeah, like, oh no.
That would be the worst.
Yeah.
Yes.
You shouldn't do it.
Exactly.
It's not a healthy thing to go do. And would you want that person to hang out with you if they didn't really want to hang out with you and they were like, I hope they cancel? No.
I know. I do. And I feel like I struggle with finding that line because I do want to invest. Like, we've been going to a new church lately. It's not a new church, but we've just been getting more integrated into it, I guess. And like, we want to invest more in the couples there and like hang out. I
struggle with this really hardcore.
It is hard because it's like, what's the line between like, yes, protect like your time and like have your boundaries, but also invest, even though it's not my bestie and her husband, and that's who I might like be more comfortable hanging out with. But I should still do this. I do think it's important.
Yeah. I think it's if it is fruitful. I always go back, is this fruitful? Is this a fruitful interaction for them and for me?
Yeah.
And if there's like a time in your life where you're just investing in someone and you're trying to like mentor them to an extent or help them. Like, yes, I don't do those all the time, but that's a part of my life, something that I want to do. Like, you know, you're going to go and do those things that are kind of like that. But as far as like bringing people in, is it fruitful? And the reality is, I think it is hard to find people who think that way, who think like a contributor. Mm-hmm. How am I contributing to this conversation? How am I contributing to this hangout? You know what I mean? And like,
Agreed.
Some people are not that way.
Yeah.
And if I don't really hang out with many non-contributors,
which makes sense.
Probably at all, honestly. I was talking to Mitchell about that. Like, contribute. Leaders contribute. People who want to better themselves contribute. And so I think that's something that I think about. And
I love that.
And always allowing, if they have a space that's in like, it's not going to lower my vibe to like either spiritually or physically, like with fitness, diet, all those things. If it's not, then I'll go over to their space and engage with them, and I will try and do that.
Right.
If it's not, then I'm definitely going to try and bring them over here. And then it's that same thing. If you're not going to rise, then we got to like spread. So I think it's just like trying it, you know, you got to like give it a shot.
Agreed.
And I feel like there's a new couple that we all hung out with, a couple, you know, amazing.
Yeah. And the couples at our church are so sweet. They're amazing. Like, they are great people. I think it is just a little bit of effort on our part saying like, this is going to be worth it. Like, we're going to put ourselves in this and like drive the 45 minutes to hang out with them. Like, whatever it is, like put in the time and effort and then see the result.
Yes.
Like, is this fruitful for both of us? Is this a good friendship?
Yeah. Mitchell and I did that with a church thing, and I was like,
it's not.
It's not. No, it just was. I was like, I can't, this is not for me. This is not for us. And we were like, but we tried.
I love that. And I do want to be better about trying, because sometimes I think I am like almost too jealous over my like alone time and like my time with Matthew. I'm like, I'd rather just hang out the two of us. But there's
you do have to push yourself.
Yes. There's a lot of value in pushing yourself and stepping outside like your inner circle. Like we're saying, like we have that. I'm so grateful for it. But there's a time and space for other friends. Maybe it's a season, a reason, whatever. Yeah.
And then when you find the ones that are like, this is a good relationship, I know I can help you, like you're going to contribute, those are the ones that you go after.
Like, how valuable.
What a gift. Yeah, those are the ones that's like, I'm going to be following up with you, I'm going to be texting you, and I'm going to be like, let's get you in, you know. Few people are just like good at like showing up and like following through and hanging out. It's so weird to me. I don't get it. Like,
but I think like there's less guilt around it because of the whole idea of protecting your space and your boundaries. I know. So it's like, if I cancel, it's my right, and it's I'm doing what's right for me, so I don't have to feel guilty about it. So I think there's less follow through. Yeah. And less guilt about it.
Yeah, but I feel like on the first one, like you really don't do that. That's not how you should set the tone.
Like on the first hangout?
It's super important.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
so important to me. I had to do that. I told you about like an old teammate, and I was like, I am so sorry. I laid out the reasons I couldn't hang out that day. I gave her like 3 other days that we could hang out, and I was like, I will be there. I will work around your schedule. I'll make it happen, and I did. Yeah, because it's like just like a first like in a business sense, you do not cancel the first meeting.
Agreed.
That is so bad.
That sets the tone about you as a person.
Yeah, like you can't follow through. You don't show up.
And like, if there is a valid reason, like give that.
Yeah.
Give the explanation. Let people know where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like don't make the wrong first impression if that's not actually who you are.
Yeah. Just be honest. Yeah. Like, and that's exactly what I did. I was like, dude, these are the reasons. I'm literally up to the top. I can't even think straight. Like, give me, let's hang next week.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I think that's really important. But that was a good question too of like knowing that. Yeah. Where do I
like what is the line? Yeah.
I'm also very much in a season where I'm like, I can't compromise any of my time and definitely any of like the energy that I'm hanging out with people. Yeah. Will I invest and show love to people and stuff like that? Yeah, 100%. But will I hang out with someone like no. Absolutely not. Especially if you're a bad influence. If you lower the level in like any capacity, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I love it. I feel like our parents would be so proud of being like, no, they were bad influence. I'm not hanging out with them. I'm not doing it.
They would.
Go. Good job.
Good job.
Okay. Do we have time for one more?
Yeah. Okay, we can do like 10 more minutes.
Ooh. Yeah, we have time for 10 more questions.
Mucho tiempo. Sorry. Next, go, Rita. How many questions do we have left?
I only have 2 more.
Okay, go.
And I've told you how often. So Izzy does a little bit of Spanglish for our listeners. Yeah. And so we've obviously started picking up on it. But the amount of times that Matthew and we did this last night in tandem. We were like, juntos.
I know. I've almost said juntos like 90 times.
In Spanish. I know. It is literally a part of our daily language. We're like, we could do that together. Juntos. We literally say it twice. It's not even like the correct way to say it. Anyway. It's rubbing off. Okay.
It's good. You're going to be saying hoopla too.
Hoopla, I have resistance towards that.
It's okay.
I'm not ready.
That what you hate you
it's
become.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay, Maggie. I did too.
I know. I'm like, it's bound to happen. Okay. This is how can we teach our kids, but I think like how can we teach others around us to have boundaries without shame?
I have something to say about this. Of course I do. I think I've done that every time. But I'm like, so.
Like, actually, I can answer that one. Pick me.
That what is shameful is only shameful if it's in the dark.
I just saw Layla Hermosi talk about this.
Yes. Just bring it to light.
Yeah.
So wherever that is that you have shame putting the boundary, maybe it's because like you're feeling really insecure about like your schoolwork or something because it's not going good. Just be like, dude, I'm feeling this way about this. And then usually they're gonna, you know what I mean? Just be honest about it.
Yes.
I like literally just be honest about it.
Yeah, I love that.
Whatever
I feel like I've been learning that more with Matthew too, just like letting him know when I'm overwhelmed and just being like, hey, I'm feeling like this right now. It's helped so much. Like the times that the times I've said that, dude. And like they so want to be helpful and supportive. It's just like letting them know they're not a mind reader.
Yeah. No,
what was it this morning?
Bird pooped on my hair, and I literally was like, and he like wiped it out of my hair. I was sitting outside, a bird pooped in my hair, and I like got up. And I just said nothing. I just walked and got straight in the shower. And then he's like, are you good? And I was like, this has nothing to do with you. I'm having a morning. Like I literally, you're just telling them.
Fair.
Literally. Yeah. I'm a little pissed off right now.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't funny to me when it happened. I was literally just like.
Yeah. That's
so.
Very fair. But just letting them know. I think that's so helpful. Yeah.
Bring it to light.
Yep. Without shame, boundaries without shame. Yeah, I do think I struggle with like the guilt.
I feel like it's more you
saying no. So I think it's remembering why I'm saying no, like why the boundary is there. Not not necessarily how it makes someone else feel. Like, I never want to make someone feel bad, but first and foremost, like, why am I setting up that boundary in the first place?
Yeah.
And like, what are the positive effects of me saying no or me having that boundary?
I love that. Connect to the why.
I think they're really, really helpful.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Because otherwise I think I like spiral and I think, well, they're going to think this, and then like, you know, they're not going to want to hang out.
Which they probably never would. And I definitely don't. I'm like, okay, I appreciate you communicating and telling me. Yeah. It's more like, I wouldn't want you guys to hang out if you're like feeling exhausted, like, oh, we're fitting this in. I don't want that.
Exactly.
I don't want to be like
a you don't want that either. It's not good for either party.
Dude, take a nap. Yeah. Except sometimes Matthew needs to be pushed after a nap.
It's true. Oh my gosh. He could sleep. I'm pretty sure he just got some sort of test sent to him for like hypersomnia because he sleeps so much. So they're trying to like figure it out, which is sometimes ridiculous.
I think I have that, but
because you can sleep so much. You two are so similar in that. Yeah.
I spent the night before, 12 hours in bed. Slept for 11.
Yeah, that's how he is too. I am not like that. I literally don't feel well if I like try to sleep in too long.
I don't feel well if I get up too early.
That is
just
so
early
wild.
At all. Yeah. Anything before 7, I'm
person.
like, I have to.
No thanks.
My day's ruined.
I know. I think I called you at like 9 yesterday, and I was like, this is probably too early for her.
Yeah, because I also don't do the phone in the morning.
Yeah.
So, and I like to have my time, with, no. I've been doing that a lot recently.
Your time.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay, last question. Let's go.
Okay. What's one thing you're currently learning to say no to and why? I'm trying to think of something that I haven't touched on.
I know we've been doing all the touches.
We've been looping.
I think just working nonstop in a day.
Okay.
Like, and I'll have example last night, I was like, I had some calls till later and everything, and then I got a content idea. I already posted like 2 or 3 times that day and everything, and I was like, oh, I want to make, and it was just like, dude, I don't need to spend 25 minutes on another piece of content right now. Like, because then it's going to lead to me feeling overwhelmed and burnout. Yeah. And sometimes leaving a creative urge on the table. And just say no. I'll come back to that, because I have done phases where every single thought, I've gone on with like every single thing. And it's like, you don't need to jump on every single creative idea that you have.
Yeah.
Because it's left me like feeling like my brain, I can't even turn it off. I'm like so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I think just like being able to be like, no, I don't need to. And it's okay.
I love that. Yeah.
I can write the idea down if I feel the inspiration. Because I did. That's what I did. I knew I had the idea. I didn't lose the idea. Mm-hmm. Write it down. Come back to it.
Yep. I love writing things down. Because if it's like messing with your head and you can't be present, you can't sleep, whatever, write it down. Come back to it when you have time.
For me, just like the plans that, like, I went to coffee yesterday morning with Mitchell, and he's like my therapist. We just sit there. I was like, all right, these are the 3 things that I'm like stressing about right now. Yeah. This is what, like, just boom, 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 let it, and then you're like, oh, it's gone. I'm good.
Amazing.
Boom.
Just talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Has nothing to do with boundaries, but anyways.
I love it. But it's still good advice.
It's still good advice.
For sure. I think one thing that I've been learning how to say no to, probably just like those tasks that need to get done at some point, don't need to get done right away.
Yep.
Saying no to laundry, like, it's not going to get done tonight. I'm not going to stay up later because of it. Like, I'm just going to leave it be, because I'm used to Matthew doing a lot of those, and right now he's in a season of working a ton, and so there's just not as much teamwork right now, which is just like the season that we're in, and so it's kind of learning, like, what do I need to say no to make sure I'm getting the needle moving things done and not overextending myself. And so a lot of that is like just those little day-to-day tasks that I would like to get done, but just literally don't have the time for. And there's a lot of peace with that.
Yeah. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Exactly. This is a good sewed.
I love it.
This is awesome.
Great topic.
Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I would greatly appreciate if you could share this episode with 5 people you think could benefit from the show. Also, please feel free to connect with me on Instagram at IzzyChinche or my website at izzychinche.com. Thank you so much for being you. Keep being a leader, making this world a better place.